Have you ever, been sitting there watching your dog let out this specific sigh, or maybe your cat does that weird little tail flick, and you just think, what on earth are you really trying to tell me? It happens to all of us pet owners, right?
Oh, absolutely. It really does. Our pets, they're communicating all the time, even if obviously they don't use words like we do. Dogs and cats, they're masters of expression, really. They send these complex messages through, their body language, those unique sounds they make, and even just their everyday habits. They're broadcasting so much more than we usually pick up on.
And that's exactly what this deep dive is going to tackle today. Our mission, our goal, is to sort of decode those unspoken signals, give you, the listener, a kind of shortcut to a deeper bond and, frankly, a much clearer understanding of what your pet needs, how they're feeling, their health, and, ultimately, their happiness.
Exactly. We're aiming for those aha moments, the ones that genuinely make your relationship richer.
Yeah. Hopefully by the end of this, you'll feel like you have some practical tools to really read your furry friends better than before.
And it's not just about, watching them. It's about building a real connection, a more intuitive one with the animals sharing your home. As we get into these insights, remember to subscribe to our channel. It helps us keep bringing you more deep dives like this.
Definitely. And we'd love to hear from you too. Share your own pet stories or thoughts in the comments as we go. Your experiences add so much.
They really do.
Okay, so if they're always talking, where do we start? The most obvious place, I think, has to be their body language. When you say it's like this unfiltered broadcast of what's going on inside.
Precisely. Body language is, well, it's foundational. The way they hold their ears, those tiny movements in their tail, the look in their eyes, even just how they stand or sit. These aren't random. They offer direct, unfiltered clues about your pet's emotional state if you know how to read them, how to understand the grammar of their gestures.
Okay, let's start with dogs then. They're often so open, especially with their tails. We all know the happy wag, that big enthusiastic one. But there's more to it, right? It's not always just happiness.
Absolutely. That big, full-body wag is pretty universally happy, yes. But the details matter. A high, stiff wag, that can signal they're really alert, maybe even issuing a challenge. It's not just simple excitement, it's heightened arousal.
Right, it's like they're on edge a bit.
Exactly. And conversely, that lower tucked tail, it isn't just fear. It's often them actively trying to look smaller, non-threatening. It's a really important signal for de-escalation in social situations. It's less about their raw emotion and more about their social intention at that moment.
Interesting. And what about the ears? They seem like little radars sometimes.
They are incredibly dynamic. Ears perked straight forward usually mean focus, alertness on something ahead. But watch for a slight twitch backward, even from that forward position. That often means they're tracking something behind them.
Ah, okay. Not just what's in front.
Right. And if the ears are sort of relaxed, slightly to the side, that's often a sign of deep contentment, especially if their eyes are soft too. You really need to combine these small signals to get the full picture.
I always find that direct stare from a dog so intense, sometimes a bit unnerving, honestly. What's really going on there?
Yeah, that direct, wide-eyed stare can definitely signal confidence. Or, depending on the context, it could be a challenge. They might be testing boundaries, asserting themselves a little.
Okay.
But on the other hand, if a dog is actively avoiding eye contact, maybe turning its head away, or you see the whites of their eyes, what some call whale eye, that's usually a clear appeasement gesture. It's a sign of submission or fear. They're trying to signal they aren't a threat.
And the whole body posture kind of ties it all together, gives context to those smaller cues.
It really does. A truly relaxed dog just looks loose, comfortable, easygoing posture. But a tense stance, maybe lowered or hunched, that could mean fear, definitely stress, or even physical pain. It's their way of showing vulnerability. And then, of course, you have the play bow, front end down, rear end up, often with a wiggly tail. That's pretty much a universal let's play invitation. Super clear sign they want to have some fun.
So insightful for dogs.
Yeah.
Now let's shift to cats. Our often more mysterious feline friends. People think they're hard to read, but their body language, especially those tails, is just as revealing, maybe even more subtle sometimes.
Oh, cattails are incredibly expressive, yes. That high tail, maybe with a little quiver at the tip, that's pure happiness, contentment, a really warm greeting.
Like, I'm happy to see you.
Exactly. But then you see that tail swishing back and forth rapidly, almost like a whip. That's strong irritation, maybe anger. It's a clear warning sign. Back off.
Okay, noted.
And a low tail, sometimes tucked right under.
Yeah.
That often points to fear, insecurity, feeling threatened.
And their ears. just as expressive as a dog's.
Definitely. Ears pointed forward mean they're alert, tuned in, tracking something, fully engaged. But if those ears turn sideways or flatten right back against their head, especially angled back, that's a big signal of fear, aggression, or just intense displeasure. They're protecting themselves, getting ready for trouble.
And the eyes.
Right.
That famous slow blink. It feels so deliberate, so personal.
It really is. The slow blink, the kitty kiss. It's one of the most profound signs of trust and affection a cat can offer. It basically means, I feel safe and relaxed with you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you can try blinking slowly back at them. It's a great way to return that feeling of trust. Now, on the other side, dilated pupils, big black pupils can mean excitement, like just before they pounce on a toy,
Right.
but they can also signal intense fear or anxiety, especially if the lighting hasn't changed much. So context, again, is absolutely key with pupils.
Right, always context. And finally, their overall posture. My cat loves to just sprawl out and sometimes totally belly up.
That sprawling, belly-exposed posture, that's a classic sign of a deeply relaxed, comfortable cat. They feel completely safe in their surroundings to be that vulnerable.
Okay, good to know.
But if you see a cat all puffed up, hair standing on end, back arched high, making themselves look bigger, that's pure fear or a major threat display. They're trying to look intimidating. And of course, that rubbing against you or headbutting, that's affection, but it's also scent marking. They're literally marking you as part of their safe zone, their family, by sharing their scent.
It's really amazing how much they're saying without words.
Okay.
Okay, so beyond body language, there's the whole symphony of sounds they make. Vocalizations, barks, meows, purrs, howls. Each one seems to have its own job.
Yes, and this is where interpretation gets, well, even more nuanced. A single sound, like a bark or a meow, can mean different things depending on the situation, the intensity, the pitch, what their body's doing at the same time, and just what's happening around them. It's not just what sound, but how and when.
Okay, let's talk barks. My dog seems to bark for, well, everything. The mail carrier, a squirrel, a leaf falling.
Exactly. And that's why context is so crucial. Barks are incredibly versatile. A sharp, insistent bark might be a warning, stranger alert. A repetitive, maybe higher-pitched bark could be pure excitement or an invitation to play.
Right.
A low, guttural bark is often more serious, maybe territorial, and sometimes just a single soft woof is simply agreeing, like, oh, hi! You absolutely need the situation and the body language to decode the specific message.
And howls. They always sound so, I don't know, primal or maybe sad.
They are very primal. Howls are often about long-distance communication, connecting with other dogs. It's a social contact call. But they can also be an expression of anxiety, especially separation anxiety if a dog feels alone or isolated.
Growls seem pretty straightforward, usually meaning back off. But are there times a growl isn't aggressive? Could we misinterpret it?
That's a really important point. While growls are often a warning, I'm uncomfortable, you're crossing a line, they can sometimes be part of play, especially rough and tumble play between dogs or puppies. It can even be an involuntary sound if they're in pain when touched or moved.
Oh.
The key is, again, context.
Oh, yeah.
Is the body tense and stiff or relaxed and bouncy during the growl? It's like reading a whole sentence, not just focusing on one word. And then you have whines.
Oh, the whines. Sometimes it feels like pure manipulation for attention.
Well, whines can indicate a desire for attention, but they can also signal pain or discomfort or just sheer excitement.
Yeah.
If they're whining but also wagging their tail and bouncing around, it's probably excitement.
Right.
But if it's paired with, say, lethargy, hiding, or flinching when touched, then pain or distress is definitely something you need to check out.
Okay, switching to cat to meows. It really does feel like they reserve those specifically for us humans.
For the most part, they do. It's fascinating. Adult cats rarely meow at each other. They use other sounds like chirps, hisses, purrs, and body language for cat-to-cat chats. So that meow directed at you, it's largely a learned behavior specifically to get your attention.
So they trained us.
In a way, yes. Whether it's feed me, pet me, or just hello, you're home, it's usually aimed right at their humans.
And purrs. The ultimate sound of a happy cat. Or is there more to it?
Mostly, yes. Purring equals contentment. But here's the really interesting part. Cats also purr when they're stressed, injured, or in pain.
Really? Why?
It's believed to be a kind of self-soothing mechanism in those times, almost like humming to calm themselves down. And get this, the frequency of a purr, usually around 25 to 150 hertz, is actually within the range known to help promote bone healing and tissue regeneration.
Wow, that's incredible.
Isn't it? So, if your cat is purring really intensely but also seems withdrawn, or maybe hiding or showing other subtle signs of discomfort, don't just assume they're happy. It could be their way of trying to heal or cope, a kind of silent request for help.
Okay, that's definitely something to keep in mind. Now, hisses and growls from a cat seem pretty unambiguous. Usually means they're seriously upset.
Oh, yeah. Those are clear, definite warnings. Hissing and growling mean anger, fear, or just extreme displeasure. They feel very threatened and are saying, stay away, I mean it. Those are hard boundaries.
And what about that weird chattering sound? My cat does it sometimes when she's staring out the window at a bird she can't reach.
That's exactly when it happens. Chattering is pretty specific to that scenario, spotting prey they can't get to. It's thought to be a mix of frustration, excitement, and maybe even a kind of practice or anticipation of the killing bite, a thwarted hunting instinct bubbling up.
Fascinating. So, okay, we've got body language, we've got vocalizations, but beyond those obvious signals, just their everyday behaviors, their habits can also give us huge clues about what's going on inside their heads, right? Revealing instincts and feelings.
Absolutely. Those daily actions, the mundane stuff and the quirky stuff, they tell us a lot about how comfortable they feel, their security, their natural drives, and sometimes they can even flag underlying problems that need our attention.
Let's stick with dogs for a moment. Licking. Is it always just kisses and affection?
Often, yes, licking is affection. It's a social bonding thing, like how a mother dog grooms her pups. But sometimes excessive licking, especially of narcissists or themselves, can be a sign of anxiety or even a medical issue.
Okay. And jumping up on people.
That can be pure excitement, you're home, or it can definitely be attention-seeking behavior. And when they bring you a toy, usually a clear play with me signal, or sometimes it feels like they're sharing something precious, like offering a gift.
And digging. My dog went through a phase of digging holes in the backyard. Is he just bored?
Could be boredom, definitely, if they're not getting enough exercise or mental stimulation. But digging is also a really strong instinct for some breeds. And sometimes it can be what's called the displacement behavior, a way to release nervous energy or anxiety, like how a person might fidget.
Ah, okay. That makes sense, like if something stressful is happening.
Exactly. And even excessive sniffing, going beyond normal exploring, can sometimes point towards anxiety or being hyper alert, another way they might cope with feeling unsure.
Right. Okay. Shifting to cats and their unique habits. Kneading or making biscuits. It looks so blissful.
It usually is. Kneading is a lovely holdover from kittenhood. They did it to stimulate milk flow from their mother. As adults, it's generally a sign of deep comfort, feeling secure, happy, and they also have scent glands in their paws, so they're kind of marking you or the blanket as safe and theirs.
So it's comfort and marking.
Yep, and rubbing their face on things, including you. That's also big on scent marking. They're
Yeah.
depositing pheromones from glands in their cheeks, marking territory but also showing affection, blending your scent with theirs.
And then there are the gifts. The mice or birds left proudly on the mat. Why do they do that?
Ah, yes, the little trophies. It's a very strong hunting instinct. Bringing prey back to a safe spot, like home, is natural. Something they're trying to share their catch with their family group, maybe even trying to teach us, their clumsy humans, how to hunt.
Right, like here, I got this for you.
Pretty much. And then there's hiding. My cat sometimes just vanishes for hours.
That usually means they're scared or unhappy, doesn't it?
Often, yes, hiding can definitely signal fear or insecurity. Maybe there's a loud noise, a visitor they don't like, or they're just feeling overwhelmed. But sometimes cats also just hide because they want peace and quiet, a safe, private spot to nap undisturbed. The key is noticing if it's unusual for them, or what might have triggered it. Is something new or stressful happening, or could they even be feeling unwell?
Okay, so we've unpacked all these different layers: body, sounds, actions. Now let's talk about the so what. Why is it actually so important for us to make the effort to decode all this?
Well, this understanding, it's not just, interesting trivia. It really is the foundation of being a responsible and compassionate pet owner. When you can truly hear what they're telling you, you can meet their needs much more effectively.
How so?
Well, you can spot subtle signs of pain before they become severe. You know when they need playtime versus quiet time. You recognize fear and can help them feel secure. You can potentially head off behavioral problems because you understand the underlying cause, whether it's anxiety, boredom, or something else. It just fosters this deeper level of trust and connection.
So it builds a stronger bond.
Absolutely. It builds a stronger bond because communication flows better both ways. It helps you create an environment where your pet doesn't just live with you, but genuinely thrives because they feel understood. It moves beyond just basic care to truly knowing your companion.
That sounds incredibly rewarding for both the pet and the owner. And just a reminder, if you're finding these insights useful, please do subscribe to our channel. It really helps us continue creating this content, and you won't miss our future deep dives.
Yes, please do. And leave us a comment too. We genuinely love hearing about your own pets and your aha moments.
Okay, so what an amazing exploration into the secret language of our pets. We've seen how their bodies, their sounds, their actions, it's all part of this incredibly rich, complex system of communication. They're just waiting for us to learn how to listen.
They really are.
And ultimately, our pets are such cherished members of our families. Learning their language, it really does open the door to a much deeper, richer relationship, one built on, real understanding and mutual affection.
It truly is about more than just food, water, and walks. And here's a final thought to ponder. Imagine if we were as emotionally transparent as our pets often are. How much more might we learn about ourselves? And maybe, just maybe, what else are our animal companions trying to teach us beyond just their immediate needs? Things like connection, being present, maybe even uncomplicated joy.
That's a really powerful thought to end on. So our challenge to you, the listener, is to start observing. Really watch, really listen. Take what you've learned today and begin decoding your own pet's unique signals. Enjoy that journey of discovery. And please remember to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the fascinating world around us. Let us know your thoughts, your pet stories, or any questions in the comments below.